What is going on, everybody? It is Friday night, 7 p.m. I'm going to give it a minute here and see if we can get some people in. People getting home from work, people getting done with dinner, things like that. So I'm going to give it a second here and welcome everybody in just a moment. Welcome to the show. I'm giving it just a moment here. Give people a chance to come on in. What's up, 1224? Man, you're right on time. Just bear with a moment. I'm going to give some time here for peeps. I'll try not to. Welcome to the show. I'm giving it just a moment here, a few minutes, to get more people a chance to come on in. Welcome to the show. Going to give it another minute here before I get started. I've been waiting all damn day. I guess another minute or two won't hurt me too much. So bear with. If you guys have comments throughout the show, more toward the end of the show, I will look to answer some of them. I won't be able to get to them at the beginning, but I'll certainly keep us right on the right side of my screen. I'll keep an eye on them. So another minute here. Actually, we'll go a minute and 20 seconds, and then I'll get started. See if we can get maybe 2 or 3 times the amount of people in here. That's a good idea. That's a real good idea. Less than a minute here, and I'll get started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So I'm rolling solo tonight. Luke had something come up that was beyond his control, and there's no way that it makes sense for us to try to pipe him in from where he's at. It just wouldn't make for good audio or good video. So I'm riding solo, and you guys will have to help me out with questions and comments, feedback, and I will get to that later on in the show. All right, so as you can see on the screen there, and I might not even get to all of this today, and I might not even do picks, to be honest with you, because with everything that's going on, I actually kind of feel weird. I really feel it's a weird feeling, to be honest with you, and I don't even really feel like doing them. So I think I might skip that. But anyways, right there in the center of the screen, changes for online gambling, question mark. what might happen. Sports and the trust of sports going forward. There's been a lack of trust basically forever. What will that mean now? What happens now? Basically, what's next? G League to college play. I mean, it doesn't even sound right. G League players with eligibility to go to college. I'll try to get to the NBA opening act, the games, the teams, and Wemby. I might get to that. The picks, as I mentioned, I probably will skip. On the left of the screen there, the hottest topic in the world right now, and it's amazing. It's literally amazing to me. And this is what's part of what's firing me up is people are acting like this is no big deal. So you see Chauncey Billups there. You see LeBron James and Damon Jones there. You see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar behind the two of them. And it has everything to do with the night after, the night that LeBron broke Kareem's record. That is when it is alleged that Damon Jones got the word out that LeBron would not be playing the next game. Terry Rozier there. And then one of the famous mob players right in the back there with the aces and the chips behind there. This stuff is, to me, it's not stunning, and I'll explain some of the reasons why. Some of the access that I've had, in access, I don't know if I'd say access, but I have been around some of those circles in my life, not involved in it myself, but I have been around it, and I've seen some things in action. So this doesn't really surprise me in any way, shape, or form. And before I continue, every single thing that I say tonight is I want to make sure that I say it is all alleged. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. None of this is a for sure thing. I'm giving opinion. I'm not giving, as it relates to those guys there on the screen. I am not accusing them. Welcome to the show. I am not accusing them. I am not going to speak in terms of it is a for sure thing. All of these people get their day in court. That's one of the things that's supposed to be. It's not always, but it's supposed to be, the fabric of our country that makes us different. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining in. That's the fabric of it, and everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So I assume no guilt on any one of these guys, but I'm going to speak very directly. Welcome to the show. I'm going to speak very directly about what those charges are, what my opinion is on those charges, whether I personally believe there's any validity to it or not, how it is or isn't a surprise to me. It's not a surprise. I'll give it away. Hey, Adam, I'll give it away by saying I'm not surprised by any of this. So let me start by saying this. The NBA is the guiltiest party of all of this. My own personal opinion of the NBA is they have known that this has been going on. It's been discarded, swept under the rug, kicked aside. This didn't just happen yesterday. Rozier's been investigated basically for 2 years. Malik Beasley's basically for 6 months. The common knowledge of Chauncey Billups' poker games. There are guys online in 2023 talking about it, that it has been known since 2019, 2020, that he had known games and that it was almost a virtual certainty by professional players. And Matt Berkey is his name. 2019 is when he started talking about it. And then there was an interview in 2023 where he says it was about 4 years ago. So he's referring to 1920, that it was very, very common knowledge that Chauncey was running these type games. So if anybody has seen Molly's Game, phenomenal movie based on a real life story. I'm not saying it's based on Chauncey and what he had going on. But if a poker player knows, if a professional poker player knows, this type, as much as they say, oh, don't say anything, keep it quiet. I've been around some of those games in my life. Don't say anything. Nobody can know about this. Baloney. word gets out, people know. There is no possible way on this earth that Adam Silver did not know of, have some form of knowledge of, been tipped off, that somebody came and said, hey, you better look at this. I am here to say I'm not a dummy. And I don't think anybody here watching is a dummy. There are not thousands, not tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, not millions, not 10 million, not 100 million, not 500 million, not a billion. There are hundreds of billions of dollars at stake with the NBA, with their partners, and everything that has happened up until this day with online gambling that was legalized in 18 and has expanded over to 37 states as it sits right now. And there are strong efforts going in the biggest cities, which still don't have it. So I'm in Florida. Florida has Hard Rock Bet, no DraftKings, no MGM, no FanDuel, none of the others. It is Hard Rock Bet. And the only reason it is because it's run through the Seminole Casino, which is on tribal land. It is not owned and operated by any American-based company. That's how they're able to pull it off. And they had dibs on it first. So now it's a bidding war. DeSantis is involved. They're doing all this negotiating. It got close about a year ago, year and a half ago. It fell apart. And it's all about money. It's all about the taxes of it. It's all about money. It's all about payoffs. It's all about getting the right people and the right influence to get behind the decision to be able to change it to where those guys could come in. And then the Seminole tribe obviously needs to be taken care of, and they still need to have a piece of the action. So you have Florida, which I just mentioned. You have New York, California, Texas, and Florida, of course, is not fully open. These are the biggest states in the country that still aren't even opened yet. And there are others. And they're going to happen. It's going to happen. Let me be clear, and I will get to my background on this and my experience on this and why I'm semi-qualified to talk about this. This is not going away. The gambling portion will not change. These companies are not going to close down. They may be regulated some. They may pull back on some of the prop bets and such, but it is not going away. And here's the reason why. Obviously, there's so much money in it. And where these sites operate in these states, it is worth billions of dollars to the state. So there's big money for a lot of people. There's a lot of hands in this pie. It's very lucrative for the sport leagues. It's very big. Welcome to the show. It's very, very big for the sport leagues. It's very big for all partners involved. So it's not changing. It's not going away. It was 2011. I'll never forget. I was placing some bets through somebody, and it wasn't legalized. Welcome to the show. It was not legalized, and I was shown a website that looks almost, well, let me just say similar. Very similar to what you see today with FanDuel and all of that. This was an illegitimate underground website in 2011 when technology, that's 14 years ago, almost 15 years ago, because this is February of 11 I'm talking. And we're knocking on February of 26. Okay, so 15 years. If you think gambling's going away, it's not. The underbelly, the underworld, if it ever happened, the underbelly, the underworld would just get bigger. And they would be easier to access because they have technology now that they can line up into and give these passwords away with access to these sites and have these built in secret on these IP addresses that are difficult to trace or that are based in Antigua or some of the places around the world where they can get away with it. It's no more, hey, dial up the phone. Hey, Johnny, can I get 3 dimes on such and such team? No, it's not going to be like that anymore. It would still be either through an app or through a desktop, laptop of some sort. People will get their bets down. If people want to bet, there will always be an opportunity to do so. This nonsense, is it easier to do now? Yes. Is it more mainstream now? Yes. Has that made a difference? Yes. Would it be a little bit harder to access? Yes. But if somebody has enough knowledge or enough desire to want to place a wager, they will just adjust and word will get around and people will be able to get their wager done. Will there be as many props? Probably not. But if you think that in the prop market, as big as it is today, if you don't think that these guys are going to do this type of stuff, I'm talking about the underworld, if it gets to that, if you don't think that they're going to get props in play, I think that's short-sighted. They will absolutely follow suit. The road has been paved. The examples, welcome to the show. The road has been paved. It's been shown how to do it, and they will do it. So for all of these people that want to say it's DraftKings' fault, it's FanDuel's, welcome to the show. FanDuel, MGM's fault. No, it's not. No, it's not. So is it Smirnoff's fault? Is it whoever Absolute's fault? Is it Seagram's? Is it whatever type of alcohol? Is it their fault? It's a decision in a free country that somebody could make. Now, do I condone it for everybody? No. Can it be dangerous? Yes. Did it hurt me, and particularly in my younger years of my life? Yes. Is it the best example to set? No, it's not. It can be very dangerous. Right now, we're talking about professional athletes and their desire to bet on sports and their own sport, which is illegal to do by all the rules, by the rules of the league and by the rules of the app and the rules of Las Vegas. There's rules for everything in the world. You're not supposed to rob a bank. People rob banks. You're not supposed to commit a whole litany of crimes. People still commit those crimes. People will still do it. It won't change a thing. Literally. So I see X loaded all day and it's just firing me up and I'm boiling all day long, waiting for 7 o'clock to come because, this and, what did people expect if there's loopholes, people will find them? Yeah, they will find them. But you can cancel all those sites right now and they will still find them. We're in a 24/7, 365 media cycle. And so everybody hears about everything. And what has come out in the last day or so is shocking to a lot of people. It is not shocking to me. And I'm going to get into the reasons why here in a moment. Well, let's go ahead and do this right now. If I see one more piece of data that says these guys got $100 million, $200 million, what are they betting for? All right. So I have dedicated about 25 years of my life, maybe 30, to studying this very topic, and I lived a lot of it. And anything I do in my life, I want to know answers of why. Why do we do the things that we do? Why do we do them a second time, a third time, a fifth time, a 10th time? Why do athletes do this and first of all, everybody thinks that they know everybody's bank account. Well, he's worth $200 million. How do you know he's worth $200 million? How do you know he's worth $30 million? Because Wikipedia told you? You don't know what he's worth, number one. You don't know what type of trouble he's in, or she, for that matter, that they are in. You don't know who has their hooks in them and what that reason is. And then here's the biggest reason, folks. In my opinion, and there's a lot of data that shows this, and guys like Michael Jordan have used these words, mob figures, like Michael Franzese, who I follow very closely, a former mob boss, said it today. It isn't a gambling problem. Michael Jordan made this famous. It's a competition problem. It's a competitive problem. So they always say boxers, a lot of boxers, and Steve, if you're watching, I know you can relate to this. A boxer continues to box because they cannot leave the limelight, the crowd, the lights. Yes, the money, the fame, the fandom, the relevance, people coming up to them, people wanting to be around them. That's a rush. When it's time to exit out of that, there's a void. You must fill that void. And when we're talking about the highest level athletes in the world, one of the reasons they got to that, we'll use Chauncey as an example. One of the most competitive, and I'm from Detroit. And I was a sponsor for the Pistons. And I was in and around those circles in 2005, the year after they won the championship. I was there for the Malice at the Palace. Super competitive dude. You think these guys just go into everyday life and sit on the couch and throw on a TV and watch, I don't know, a soap opera or some series, and they're sitting there and they're unfulfilled because there's nothing pushing them. And maybe not all of them. None of this is a big brush to paint everything. Maybe they have a business and they put their talent and they put their energy. Hey, B-Ball Babe, welcome. I didn't see you right away. 4:15 Vegas time. We got a Vegas person in the house. Maybe there's something else that picks up their time, but how do you replicate getting in the ring with Mike Tyson? How do you replicate getting in the ring with George Foreman? How? If you're those guys, how do you do that? What's the rush? What's the competitive thing? So me, for example, and they said this about Jordan, and I'm not saying I'm Michael Jordan, but I don't care if it was putt-putt. I don't care. I remember bag toss. I remember playing bag toss, and I wanted to bet on bag toss before cornhole was ever the thing it is today. I'll bet you this and this and this for this game. Was it about the $20 or $40 or $10? No, it was about winning. For a lot of people, it's a zero-sum game. It isn't even about the dollar amount, but the dollar amount sweetens it up, but I want to beat you. And if I lose to you, I need to get revenge. How many people watching right now at some point in your life lost money to a friend, lost money to a bookie, or lost money to FanDuel or one of those sites and said, man, I'm better than that. I knew I should have did this, or I knew I should have did that. I know I can do better next time, and you want to go back next time. Whatever your limit is. If it's $5 or $500 or $5,000, you want to win. If you have a competitive drive in you, you want to get it back. The victory to prove that you can do it. And it's going to keep you up at night. So I've gambled a lot in my life, but I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure it was ever about the money. Honestly, I don't think it was about the money. Now, you want to win. Like, who wants to lose money? I don't think anybody wants to lose money. But it was the rush of the competition. It's the rush of the moment. It's the rush of I can outthink you. So, for some people, it's poker, and you're not even playing the cards. You're playing the person, right? There's so much skill there. But if you bet, I don't know, A team versus B team, you want to outsmart the line maker. I can do this. Well, it says -7.5, and I think they're going to win by 10. I got this. But it doesn't cover. And then you come back and then you go pick another one. But it really wasn't about the $50 that you lost or the $100 that you lost. It was about winning. It was about saying you did it. It was about feeling like you were good enough to beat it. And here's another thing. And this actually just popped in my mind. I don't have any notes on this. Everyone says you cannot win at sports betting. And the greatest in the world, the actual professionals, work at about 6 to 7%. They're good enough to make 6 to 7% on the handle for the total time over a year. So if that number can get up there, 6, 7, even 5, 4 to 5%. What does it take to make 4 to 5% when you factor all the juice? It is rather significant. You have to be good enough to do that over long periods of time. I've won 15 in a row. I've won 17 in a row. I won 11 in a row this year. That happens. But you can also lose 8 in a row, 4 in a row, 10 in a row. And if you mismanage your money, you could actually lose more money on the losses than you can on the wins. I don't really want to get into that totally yet. I want to go back to the NBA. I'll get more into my background and the whys of what I did and why I think that these guys do what they do and what would possess Chauncey Billups at this point in his career, a Hall of Famer, a champion. Why would he take this risk? So Shaquille says, I can't believe he put his family at this risk. Yeah, because Shaquille O'Neal is just a saint, and he's never made any mistakes. He may have not made this type of mistake. And my friend, I'll call him my friend, Sean Salisbury, we disagree on this point. We are all flawed on some level. And Sean made a great point. I can't argue the point. He says, well, flawed in losing a bet to your friend, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't have it in front of me. Losing a bet to your friend is one thing. Creating a criminal act and fixing games is another. He's right. But it's still a flaw. It's still a flaw. It's a flaw if you go rob a bank. It's a flaw if you, I don't even like to say this, but if you take somebody's life. It's a flaw if you cheat on your spouse. There's all sorts of different flaws. My point to Sean, and I probably didn't give enough substance to it, is that we're all sinners, and in some way, we're all flawed, and some of us are more flawed than others, and some of us don't think things through as well as some other people do, and some people do some crazy stuff. And I would classify what Chauncey did as some crazy freaking stuff. If you think that you're going to run an operation like that and you're not going to get caught and you're not going to get exposed, I'll come back to that. How long has gambling been going on in sports illegally? You can go back to Shoeless Joe Jackson. You could go back to Pete Rose. And in my own opinion, all of this, that pales in comparison to this. This is a monumental difference. And I'm here to tell you, again, my opinion, we haven't seen anything yet. This is going to go across almost every sport. It did not start here to stop here. It's going to go across. And if you don't think that there are people in all of those sports that are access targets for the mob and nefarious characters, and that some people turn that, and you think Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups throwing a game and Tim Donaghy throwing games and swallowing his welcome to the show and swallowing his whistle or blowing a whistle extra times to affect the outcome of the game? And I've got some numbers here. 30 NBA teams. Okay, so that's 30 head coaches. Each team has approximately 8 to 12 assistants. Add them all up times 30, and you're roughly 350 coaches, either head or assistant. That's before you get to equipment people. That's before you get to other doctors, before you get to other people that have important information, and the referees. There are 75 full-time NBA referees and about 10 in a pool that they filter in as needed. And as they go through their process in the Nike camps and in the G League and in the other things, and they get ready, then they may, somebody gets sick or whatever the case may be, gets injured. Injuries are part of that. And they slide them in. 85 officials. This is NBA. A lot more in the NFL. Because there's obviously 3 on the court on a basketball game, and there's 10 or so on the field in football. There's all kinds of opportunity. Now, I was never in the mob. Let me make this clear. I was never in the mob. But I was around people that understood the life. I'll put it that way. And I've studied it. And I'm to a large degree a historian on the topic of the La Cosa Nostra and the Italian-American mob and how it works and how they think. Folks, it's a business. They have boards and white. I have some whiteboards in here. They have whiteboards, and they're running a business. It's just illegitimate. They are crafty. They are sophisticated. They are smart. They know how to get access. They possess power. They possess a fear element, and they possess opportunity for certain people who might want to be approached, who might want access, who might want protection, who maybe need a favor, who maybe need an out of something. And in exchange for that assistance, you do this for us, we'll do that for you. This has been around 100 years. This is not new. Why people are so freaking baffled by this, I don't know. Maybe because I've been basically a student of it, and I'm really familiar with how it works. And the Italian mob is only one There's many. There's Irish, there's Russian, there's Albanian, there's all sorts. And speaking of that, I'm really surprised that Chauncey Billups, when he was released today, there was no security protection. It looked like no police presence. Now, he had a hoodie on, and we'll get to what the hoodie said, which is really, really ironic to me. It's really revealing. And when they arrested him, they gave him a chance, I'm sure, to grab some clothes. He chose to grab that. I'll get to that in a minute. Did he have a vest on underneath that? We don't know. I don't know how they let him walk like that. Why they didn't take him through some back door, underground, or whatever. Because he knows things. And there's people that don't want what he knows public or out all the way. And they don't want to get flipped on. So I was really, really surprised to see that. And I was likewise surprised at what he had on for a sweatshirt. Adam Silver needs to be removed today. Today. Adam Silver works for the owners of the NBA. They are all at risk. If anybody does not think that the NBA owners, the sport, and any other sports that are found out or are in any way crossed over into this, because I believe we're going to find that. I believe we're going to hear about that. I believe we're going to hear football players, basketball players, baseball players that cross over into this game. And then I think that there's probably more to the Chauncey story, because once you get involved in that life, it's hard to stop at one time. Did he just do that game? By the way, Avidi, I always say his name wrong. 37 points, you're up 5. You take him out of the game with 5 minutes? Come on, man. I don't care what position you are. He tanked the game. By all accounts, the video doesn't lie. It's not like this is 1970 and we didn't see the game. He's removing his best player who's got 37 points and he's not fouled out. And it's a 5-point game. And you're supposed to play every game putting your best foot forward, and you're not supposed to be tanking a season, and you take that player out? What other reason are you taking that player out? Terry Rozier, it's as obvious as anything. And I coached basketball for 9 years. And I did a video yesterday or the day before. I was a really good shooter. I was a 5-time free throw champion and a 3-time three-point champion. I understood exactly where to put the ball. I also understand how to make the ball go a little bit further and hit the back end, take a little bit off, let it hit the front end, a little to the left, a little to the right, not throw it over the backboard. There's ways you can miss a shot from almost any distance, reasonably speaking, not half court and all of that. 12, 14, 16, 18-foot jumper, 20, 22, three-point line. When you do this, and I've never played at that level, these guys have control over that like golfers do a golf ball. They can shape it and they can do anything they want with it. Watch the highlights of Terry Rozier. There's many suspicious highlights, folks, where it is as obvious as anything. You don't have to have been a coach. You don't have to have been a good shooter. A novice person, a layman person can see something's wrong. And I'll just drop this puppy in, and I've been all over this for 4 months. Luke and I have been all over this, my co-host, for those that don't know, who's absent tonight. I guess he decided to let me do the monologue myself. For about 4 or 5 months, I've been all over the NBA, or the WNBA, excuse me. I believe that league is the easiest one to compromise. It is the easiest mark and target. There's not as much money wagered on it. Fair. Somebody said that. Apex, I think, is the one who said it. Apex Jones said it earlier. I agree. It is nowhere near the same handle, same volume. No, but the same opportunity there. And you turn somebody on the inside, you're going to get a whole slew of people that want to go wager. So that's not an issue. If there's opportunity, people will uncover it and they will exploit it and they will profit from it. The challenge has always been, where does the line of greed stop? Can we make 100,000 and stop? Very difficult, right? How can we do this without flagging someone or something? You know, in the old days, it was, hey, I'm going to give you $500,000 and we're going to split it up between 5 runners. You got $100,000. Go up and down the strip and find the line. The Runner. If anybody has ever seen The Runner, it's one of the best gambling movies ever. And it's very realistic as to the way it used to be before digital access. And these guys are out and they have relations with every bookmaker or every shop, and they're shopping the best lines, and they're walking around with hardcore cash, and they're dropping, stacks. Now, there's algorithms in place that, vibrate, that beep, the red lights, whatever. And it's like, we have too much action going on this. All right, let's change the line. Let's move it a half point up, half point down, whatever the number is, 1 point. And they know whose action it is typically that's moving a line 1 point. They typically know who that is. But if you see, I don't even want to mention a name. If you see X player from the WNBA on her prop, all this action coming in on it, they know. They know. That's why Rozier, and supposedly the take was $200,000. Even the app. I have placed wagers on the app before that said, hold on. It gives you a message and says, hold on, we have to get this cleared. It's never been rejected. It came back cleared. One time at the window, they wouldn't take my bet. I don't remember the exact reason why. The guy in front of me would put $90,000 on it. He had a backpack and he pulled $90,000 out. And I was on the same game as him. I was right behind him. They closed it off. I think basically, as I remember, that was the reason why. So it's very difficult to do. So you want to blame the bookmakers? It's BS. It's BS. It's the underground guys they will always go to, and I believe they still are. My own personal opinion. Some of the players that don't want to get flagged are using the underbelly and the underground crime world to move action, because there is no algorithm. There is no paper trail. There is no ticket. There is no show me your player's card. There is no, I want to put $25,000 on a game and they want to know who you are. I think it's over $1,000 at a casino sports book, that 1,000 or 1,300. It changes, but anything more than that, they want to know who you are. Now, if you are one of those guys, you can go through a host. You already have preset limits. They know you're going to play action like that. But you understand my point. If you get a bunch of people on the street on a college fixed game, and a bunch of guys go put 500 guys go put $2,000 or $3,000 down on a game, and suddenly you have $150,000 on ABC University that never gets that kind of action, they know. What was Terry Rozier trying to accomplish? I'm not sure. How much money does Terry Rozier have that he would risk something like that? Is he into somebody for something? His career earnings, I think, was $40-50 million, which I said this earlier or yesterday in a reel. These guys get a $50 million contract. People think it's $50 million. It's not $50 million. Let's say 50, 25, they're walking away with about 21. After taxes and agent fees, maybe 20. I'm going to go through this real quick. So let's say $1,000 to me is a lot of money. Give me $1,000. I get to do anything I want with it. I'm not going to pay any bills with it. It's just, Paul's going to have fun with this. How fast can I go through $1,000? Maybe I want a better cell phone, a monitor, a couple pieces of clothing. Maybe I want a $500 watch, whatever. Blow through $1,000 real quick, right? Let's say it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30,000. Someone says, here's 30,000 at your leisure. You don't have to pay any bills. You don't have to pay any taxes. What would I do with 25, 30, 35,000? Maybe you want to put an addition on the house. Maybe you want to take that special trip. For me, dream trip is Bora Bora. A Bora Bora trip for my wife and I, it's a solid 12 to 15 grand. And then that's just to get there. Now it's all inclusive in that, but you got to get the clothes, right? You got to have the plane, right? How fast can you go through 10, 15, 20, 25, 30,000? If it's just, hey, spend it at your leisure. What would you like to do with it? It'll go fast. Think about it in these guys' worlds. Let's say these guys make, I don't know, let's go low, because a lot of these guys make way more than that. Let's say somebody makes $5 million a year, who never had any money in his life, who grew up in a 700 square foot home, and everybody around him didn't have any money. That 5 million is 2.3, 2.5 after an agent, somewhere in that range without doing a calculator. You buy a house for yourself, you buy a house for your mom, you buy a car for yourself, and you're paying cash. You buy a car for yourself, a car for your mom, you pay off their bills, you pay off your bills. Well, you got to go get some swag, right? You got to go get some bling, you got to get your watches, you got to dress up the place, right? You got to get the camera system, you got to do all that type of stuff. How long does that money last? Is $2.5 million a lot of money at today's prices? And then all of a sudden, you have more friends than you ever knew you could possibly have. They're coming out of the woodworks. I live in Florida, so there's flies and bugs everywhere, right? There's a different kind of bug every time you look to your left or right. Imagine those guys. It's a different friend. Who are you? Where'd you come from? I don't know you. What's your name? Suddenly, they want to be around you, and they're finding a reason to be around you. And then some of these guys, and I'm not saying it's a smart thing to do, but you go out, you got 10, 15, 20 guys. This is well-known thing. You could see it on Hard Knocks. It's a $50, $60, $70, $80,000 tab like that. I mean, I've went to dinner in Las Vegas with another couple, and you could get to $1,000 bill really quick. It's not difficult, and I'm nowhere in their league. So this nonsense about, oh, he's got $10 million and this and this and this. Listen, if you're going to run in those circles, there's a part of that Joneses that they got to do. Austin Eckler, the Washington Redskins running back, everybody, maybe not everybody, but maybe you do know about Austin Eckler. Dude basically hasn't ever spent any amount of his $50 million salary. He like was known for driving this beat up Datsun or Nissan or something like that. Lives in a, I don't know, $2,000 a month apartment, like beneath means, and he has plenty of means to do something a whole lot nicer. How many people do you know in your life that are like that? If you had $40 million, what do you think you're going to do? You think you're going to invest some? You think you're going to put some away? Yeah. Adam says, agreed. Anytime I bet on sports with people, whether through fantasy football or the Pick'em League I'm currently in, it's always been more about the competition for me than the payouts for winning. Yeah. And I don't know what kind of stakes you're playing, but you want those bragging rights. You want to beat that guy. I won 3 fantasy football championships and back-to-back. 2 of them were back-to-back. The total payout was like $750 each time I won. $750 at that time, it didn't like change my life. I wanted to walk around and say I kicked your ass, and then I did it again. And then, oh, by the way, I took a year off or 2 years off where I didn't win, and then I won my 3rd. And I was the only guy in the league who won the 3. And so how does that make you feel? If you're a competitive SOB like me, it's probably why I got into coaching. I wanted to coach better than everybody. Like, it doesn't matter what I do. I want to go ahead and try to be the very best I can be at it. I wanted to go in a spelling bee champion. I traveled through the Metro Detroit area in these leagues where I was able to put my free throw ability against other people my age. It's part of how I won those championships, of the free throw championships. And I didn't just want to win. I wanted to beat them bad. And then I wanted to come back and do it again. I mean, I was playing for a trophy or a piece of paper. I wasn't playing for any money. Gronk lived off his endorsements and didn't touch his salary. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. So there's different reasons why these guys do what they do. and not at my level, at their level, there's something missing. When they walk away, you have to fill the void for them. They feel like they have to fill the void. How you think Tiger Woods is feeling right now? Is right behind me here. He just had another freaking surgery. And that dude is as competitive as they come. Everybody on that board, actually. Everybody on that sign is competitive as a mother. And I did them on bookends on purpose. Jordan and Kobe. Notice LeBron's not up there. Jordan and Kobe. Those guys want to eat your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then they want to punch you, right? It's never enough. Dan Campbell's that way. Steve Yzerman, Tom Brady. I mean, one Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowls. Oh, I'm done with New England. Let me go to Tampa. I got to do this again. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go into the broadcasting. I want to be the best broadcaster. Oh, I want to become a minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. I would still want to call them Oakland. It's just something's got to push them the next. I guarantee you, and I know he's had to get help for it because he said it. Tiger Woods has burned in his own skin. And I think he had to work to get over the guilt because he did the Navy SEALs training. He did so much muscle work, so much road work, and he basically destroyed his body. And golf is very difficult on your body as it is. But he did a lot of things outside of the ropes of golf to really threaten his body and shorten his career. And every time he gets close to come back, another surgery, another fusing. And it's burning him, even though he got help for it. Steve Yzerman, he went and won, obviously, 3 cups as a player, 4 cups as a player. Then went to Tampa Bay as a GM, won 2 cups. Well, now I got to go to Detroit and do it. And he's trying to do that. And they're much better this year. And he'll get one. Belichick, how many? Oh, now I'm going to go to UNC and try to do it at the college level. It's in him. Now, does that explain why Chauncey Billups would throw a game? Why would, and I bet you there's more. Sorry, Chaunce. Love you, my man. God, that stings for me. So let me tell you a quick story. So I was a sponsor for the Detroit Pistons, and at that time, the Detroit Shock in 2005. This is the year after they won the championship. I owned a jewelry company. I had booths at the DT Energy Music Theater, which was owned by the Palace of Auburn Hills. It's the largest, the highest grossing amphitheater in the country. And then I had 2 booths inside of the Palace, inside of the Pistons' old stadium, one on one side of the building, one on the other side of the building. 41, 42 home games. I was there pretty much for all of them. I was kind of in the circles with the marketing teams and, keeping my ear to hear a lot of the stories and stuff. As a matter of fact, Rip Hamilton, I met 2 years ago, of all places, and I'll get to that, in Las Vegas. I met him, his wife, and his children in the elevator. What a nice guy. What a nice family. So incredible. And Chauncey and him are like this. And Ben and Rashid and all of them. And Mr. Big Shot. And it's like, boy, that name kind of rings differently now, doesn't it? Again, he's innocent until proven guilty, but it doesn't look good. And then, I don't know if my man Jason Whitlock is watching or not. He probably knows her. Josina Anderson. She was on X, I think it was last night. Maybe it was this morning. I can't even keep track anymore. I'm all over the place. And she says, Chauncey Billups is one of the nicest people in the world, and he'll be fine. Like, what? What are you talking about? I think a lot of people think that Chauncey Billups is a really good guy, a really nice guy, but good people do dumb shit. Good people do bad things. Good people sometimes do things they can never come back from. Will Chauncey come back from this? I don't know. I think they got to take his, if this is proved true, they got to take him down from the banner, take from the ring. His jersey hangs in the rafters. Take him out of the Hall of Fame. You have to. I don't see how you can. If this is proven true, not the poker thing, the basketball thing. If you're throwing basketball games for money with the mafia you got to go. If you're going to keep Pete Rose out all the way to the end, and then you're going to think about posthumously putting him in after he's gone, when he passed away at 85, and it was, what, 40 years ago? When he was alive, they didn't want to do it. You got to go take him out. Is Chauncey going to be all right? I don't know. Word is Kevin Garnett, one of the guys that was at that game, one of those games. And apparently, again, these are just rumors right now. We don't know. We'll find out. I don't think he knew. Did Chauncey do this to his friends? Okay, this is access to Chauncey Billups. This is a club, basically. This is invite. These people are invite. Pete Rose can't even get pardoned. He's done if proven true. You mean Billups is done? Yes, I agree. Just like Molly's game. That's based on a true story. It's rumor, but Alex Rodriguez was supposedly supposed to be one of those guys that played in that game. I think Ashton Kutcher, Ben Affleck, people like that. I want to say Leonardo DiCaprio was another one. I'm sure Kevin Garnett was not the only huge basketball name that was invited by Chauncey Billups. And if you've been following this, apparently these are see-through cards with certain type of glasses on an X-ray table so they could actually see what the card is that you're holding. And it's very common in a poker game to wear sunglasses. So if those sunglasses have the opportunity to see through your cards, and Chauncey Billups knowingly invited these people to this to get absolutely wrecked, don't matter how much money Kevin Garnett has. I mean, what more of a shit thing can you do? That's like, hey, you want to come to the bank with me? Run to the bank with me real quick, and then you rob it, and that person didn't know, and they're going to go down as an accessory. That's a little bit different, but that's wild. And if he did that to Ben, and I don't know, again, I'm just saying, I got to imagine that he would tell a lot of people. And this was apparently known. This has been going on for years. It was done in LA and Vegas, apparently. And there's also some talk about 9 other states. But the only ones that have been talked about right now by supposed people in the know that came out and spoke about this, and it's on X. This guy, Matt Berkey, said Vegas and California, Los Angeles, I think, were the known places that Billups was running a game. And Gilbert Arenas, by the way, to me, this whole thing stinks to high heaven. And he runs around including today. He's having a lunch, he's having food, and he's making fun of being, I don't know what he was doing. I don't even want to say it because I don't have it in front of me. But that dude's a straight up asshole clown. Sorry. He's a clown. And I would tread lightly if I was him, because I think he's involved in this. They didn't bring him in for nothing. They didn't release him the same day for nothing. There's something there. The federal government, you are either a subject of an investigation or you are a target of an investigation. Neither one is good. But if you are a target, they didn't target you for nothing. And I'm not saying he was a target. Maybe he was a subject. They wanted him for questioning, by all accounts. Chauncey Billups is named. Terry Rozier is named. This is serious stuff, who he was running with. Tim Donaghy came out today. Former disgraced NBA official. The mob had their hooks in him. He said, watch what's coming. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. Is Tim Donaghy the most trustworthy guy? Probably not. I mean, he lied for however long, but it doesn't mean he's wrong. And it doesn't mean he doesn't know. He does know how this all works. There's former football players on X today that says, when they're done with the NBA, give me a call and I'll let them know about some football players. He said it. I was shocked. I follow him. I'm not going to mention his name. I don't think he put that out there. That's actually shocking. Not a big name, but played in the NFL. This is big, folks. And I bet you at these games, it wasn't just basketball players. Chauncey Billups is a major name. Mr. Big Shot was known by everybody. I mean, I'm not saying he was, but Kid Rock, I'm just telling you from Detroit, Kid Rock, season ticket holder. Kid Rock is typically always close with the players. Who knows if Kid Rock was there? Who knows if Bob Seger, another Detroit guy, another huge Piston fan, did he invite these type of people? We'll find out. But Adam Silver is running a massive cover-up, folks. Adam Silver, the night before the charges came out, said, we want to ask our partners to kind of, pull back on the props. He's known. They knew. He's known for years. So I'm not defending him, but what exactly would Adam Silver do? If he pushed so NBA did their own independent investigation on Terry Rozier. What kind of investigation you think that was? You think that was thorough? You think they're going to dig under every single layer to find out? Maybe not, huh? Because if you go deep enough, you're going to find out there's something there. If you find out, we already know something's there, but if you go find it and you expose it and you let it know, how does that make you look? Now, you could have played it the right way and say, listen, we're not going to tolerate this. It's supposedly a zero tolerance policy. We have a zero tolerance policy and we're suspended, and they have a collective bargaining agreement, and that probably needs to be redone. So can get rid of Silver today. And you got to say players, and you got to say union, and you got to say emergency meeting, and we need to start restructuring it. And there's probably some clause in there, some type of way legally where it can be adjusted under emergency circumstances. And if I'm the NBA, I consider this an emergency circumstance. It doesn't get any more emergent than this. And you have to have a zero tolerance, one strike policy. You do it, you're banned for life. You everything's forfeited. You lose any award, you lose any championship, you lose everything. That is the only way to deter it. You will be shamed basically for life. You want to try it? We'll find out. When we find out, you are finished forever, and we'll take down everybody with you. That is the only way that you can clean this up at the league level. But you have to be willing to go there. And I don't think he is. And I don't know if Goodell is either. Any of them. But if they're serious about this and they want to stand up to this and they want to protect their owners, it doesn't matter if it's Bettman, it doesn't matter if it's Silver, it doesn't matter if it's Goodell or what's his name, Manfred in baseball. You better get a hold of this, and you better get a hold of this now, because FanDuel's, DraftKings, BetMGM, PointsBet, and all the others, they're not going anywhere. There's too much money. I believe there are politicians involved. I believe there are probably congressmen and senators involved. There's governments involved. There's all sorts of things involved. It is too big to close. Also known as too big to fail. It's not going anywhere. So it's how do we dummy proof it? How do we bumper it in? And how do we keep these guys out of their own way? What additional mechanisms can we put in place to police ourselves? And it has to be so severe that you are banned for life. You cannot come back. If you do it once and list it out, if you use any one of those apps, and I don't know if you can ban it by saying, so right now it's supposedly you can bet on other sports, but you can't bet on your own. Do you ban any? Do you ban all? I mean, what do you guys think? Do you ban all access to apps? And if you are a player of one of the major leagues, and that you basically have to go all the way down the line then. If you start this, you have to go all the way. Tennis, golf, UFC, boxing, you have to go all of that. And by the way, for these, Colin Cowherd, who is one of the guys that I used to really dislike him in his approach and what he talks about. And I've grown to like him over the last couple of years. He said something I thought was really he's not ignorant. He's a very smart guy, but I thought it was an ignorant statement. And he said, the NBA is not in trouble. Yeah, if you're looking at it today, Colin, if you're looking at it as of right now, they could get through this. Right now, today, as what we know now. This is not it, though. All right, I've been holding off on this part here. Why do you think that Chauncey Billups would come out being released from the facilities with a Clutch Sports Group hoodie on? For those of you who do not know, Rich Paul is the founder and CEO of Clutch Sports. He is the agent for LeBron James. He has been in his inner circle along with Maverick Carter since 2003. Maverick Carter was arrested or under suspicion for allegedly or for apparently illegally placing wagers with a bookie. Okay. He was released. Suddenly, he's okay. I don't know if he sang, if he flipped or whatever. Person who he booked it with, they went to jail and he walked free. I believe, this is my opinion. I got to make this clear. I'm not accusing him. This is my opinion. I believe he's knee deep in this. And when I say he, number 23. I believe he's involved. I believe he's involved in all of this. It's a lot of people, so he said, apparently, allegedly, in the text message, the day after LeBron breaks Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record, an alleged text goes from LeBron James, and you got to think to yourself, now that's dumb. You're going to put this in text message? They can access your records, my man. Get D. Jones some money. Go make some money. And apparently Damon Jones went to whoever and said, LeBron's not playing for the next whatever amount of time. I don't know if it was, I didn't do the research, to be honest. A game, 2 games, 3 games, whatever it was, he took a break after that. And I actually remember that he took a break. I don't know the length of it. How would that information get out? What type of information, how valuable do you think that information was to the certain kind of people? That's pretty valuable. I don't think he has a sciatic nerve injury. I think he's playing a leverage game right now. I think he's trying to pout, and I think he's trying to, I don't think the Lakers give a damn. To be honest with you, and I did a video the other day about this, I don't think they give a damn. I don't think they want him. I don't think anybody wants him. I think everybody's done with his BS. Everybody's exhausted. Just go away. Take, who said it? Carmelo Anthony. Take Carmelo's advice and just retire already. Like, what are you doing? Sitting on the end of the bench, not saying anything, not doing anything. All of a sudden, he's out for 3 to 4 weeks with a sciatic nerve, right? Dude was putting videos out all summer long with his golf game, dancing in multiple Puerto Rico, and I forget what other place he was at, dancing the night away, partying away, but suddenly he can't move. And if you've ever had a sciatic nerve, it doesn't feel good. And it hurts like a bitch. I mean, there's different levels of it. But I mean, I had to go to masseuse and they're using their elbow and doing all this stuff. And it's taken like 5-6 visits. And when it starts to go crazy, the shit goes numb. But he's dancing, he's golfing, he's running around, he's traveling, he's doing everything. Now he can't play. And then he puts a cryptic message out. I'm not going to lose my family. I'm not going to be alone, which, by the way, has been his fear his entire life, which is why he has sought out all this attention. I call them all the A's: attention, adulation. The LeBron 30 for 30 is going to feed families. Approval, attention, adulation, all of it. He can't deal without it. This was another opportunity. Sit at the end of the bench, pout, doesn't even move his arms, doesn't clap for his team, barely gets up at the end of a quarter, at the end of the half, at the end of the half, end of the game. I mean, he's not even moving. Why did this suddenly happen? Why the text about losing everything? Why the sitting out for an injury that we all know there is none? Yes, there's the leverage part. What did he know and when did he know it? And is he involved? And does Adam Silver know about it? Damn straight. I think he does. It's best we don't have you play right now. Because if you don't think that Adam Silver, by the way, because I got tons of videos about this too from many months ago. If you don't think that Adam Silver did a backdoor deal with Nico Harrison, because if you're Nico Harrison, people make fun of him. That's the Dallas Mavericks general manager. Make fun of him left and right. I thought it was the right move. Don't pay the man $375 million Supermax contract. One-dimensional player, one side of the ball, way overweight, drinks, smokes, the whole 9 yards. And you traded him, but you only offered him to one team. Legit, one team. You have one of the most marketable commodities in the league, and you offer it to one team, and you don't put it out there as a known thing to negotiate the best possible return. Why did that happen? Because Adam Silver said, if you trade him to the Lakers, we'll make sure you get the number 1 pick, and the rest, I don't even want to hear it. Oh, this firm, Ernst & Young or whoever oversees the lottery and this and that, BS. They had like one of the worst chances to get it, and they got it. Right after trading Luka to the Lakers, right? The Lakers got to have that guy. Kareem, Magic, LeBron, Luka. Come on, man. In the biggest state? Adam Silver's as crooked as they come. Literally. He knows about all of this. And if I'm an owner of a $4, $5, $6, $8, $10 billion franchise and more, and you work for me, you're out. You're out. Because it's now synonymous with this. Even if you want to argue that he didn't know, it's under his watch. It's synonymous with what is, I believe, going to end up being the biggest scandal in sports history by miles. By miles. He's got to go. Immediately. I think what we're about to find out is just crazy. Yeah, I think it's what's her name? Rachel Demita or Demita. I apologize. She says, great basketball is being played, too much attention to the gambling. Really? No one wants to go pay attention to this. We have no choice but to pay attention to this. This is no small story. No small story. So let me just tell you a little story about me. So I was first introduced to gambling probably when I was 13, 14 years old. My dad left one of those sports cards. You know, the pick 4 teams, pick 5 teams, 6 teams. He left it on the kitchen table with a note before he went to work. When I woke up, he says, son, you know, you love sports. You know, it was harmless. It was meaningless. You know, pick 4 teams. I'll put $1 for you. And that was how it started for me. I've never told this story to anybody. I'm gonna take you through some of it, only to give you context, not to suggest that I'm anything like those people, not that I condone this for anybody else. It is just as an example to show that it doesn't mean it's about the money. It could mean it's about the competition. It could mean it's about the being wooed a little bit. So it starts out that way. In my teens, beyond that, 15, 16, 17, I started playing with money I don't have. And I got into some trouble. I got into a lot of trouble. 18, 19. Not good. Not good at all. stopped a couple years, got back into it in my 20s, playing way too much money. As much as $3,000-$4,000 a game back in those days. We're talking 95, which would make, I was born in 72, that make me 23 years old. I didn't have $3,000, $4,000 to bet on games. I'll never forget, it was New Year's Day. There was an 11 o'clock start. It was Auburn. I want to say Auburn and Georgia, college game, obviously. I had just got the wager in. This is obviously long before sports gambling. I get to the TV. I get all ready. I didn't do my research, okay, because we're talking 1993, and the internet wasn't a thing really until 95, 96, right? So I didn't see the game conditions. I wasn't like having a phone with internet and looking it up. And you go back and look at that game. When I tell you there was standing water and I had over 56, I remember it. Not because I looked. I will never forget it. I had over 56. And there's standing water on the field to where if you got to try an extra point, you're going to kick water. It's that much water. And there was talk about that they were going to delay the game to let some of the water drain, the rain stopped, whatever. I got on the phone. Hey, I got to cancel this. No, I can't. What do you mean you can't? I got to cancel this. Nope. Can't cancel it. It's done. Shit. I ended up winning by like two or 3 points. So you think you got it, right? Well, I got behind. I got behind a lot. Again, playing with money that I wasn't supposed to be playing with. Now, let me just fast forward you to later in life when I did have the money to be playing. This is within the last 5 years. I'm not a poker player. I've maybe sat down and played one Texas Hold'em tournament and didn't have much of any idea of what I was doing. Just doesn't do anything for me. None of those games, really. Baccarat, all of those different types of card games doesn't do anything. I'm a blackjack guy. No roulette. Craps I've played, obviously, but never was into that much. So I developed a relationship with people in Las Vegas. I was visiting Vegas 2 and 3 times a year. I started to play at levels that were like the most that I basically ever played on some consistent type of level. And I started to enjoy what came with it. The nicest penthouse suites in the Aria, in the Bellagio. I think my average per hand, and I've never shared this. Again, there's people way more than me. I'm not suggesting that this is any kind of, I've seen it. I've seen people a lot more. I've seen people next to me, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 a hand. $1,200 a hand. 12 or $1,250 was my rating per hand, is what it got to. I can eat dinner anywhere I want. I can make a text, send a text, and I can get a seat with my wife and I, or 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, on the window at Bellagio, or the glass over the fountains. Chefs come out, the whole 9 yards. Mr. Burkhardt, give me your flight itinerary. We'll have the limo pick you up. Limo picks us up. They'll take you anywhere you want before you go. You need to go to the store. You need to do anything you want. Everything's set up. They come, they take your bags. You got the laptop or the sign up. It's got your name. They're waiting for you. Class A treatment. Get to the hotel. There's champagne. Happy anniversary was one time. Happy birthday was another time. I mean, there's treats and cakes and whole 9 yards. Everything you can imagine. And then, if you lose, they want you back. If you win, they want you back. Well, I hit pretty big, really big. And they did everything they could to get me to stay, obviously. And then the offers and everything just increased. Now we're going to pay for your airfare. We're going to pay for your airfare, the hotel. We're going to put you up in whatever suite. These suites, 1,500, 1,600 square feet, all marble, everything beautiful. There's like one level One level higher than it is the 3,500 square foot ones. You got to be playing like 80,000, 100,000 losses in a weekend to get those. And you're a whale. I was never nothing close to a whale. So these levels that I was going up happened because I was winning with house money. I went on a hell of a run, and I think the most I ever had on a table, 13, maybe 15,000 on one hand, and it split with a double. And I won the whole thing. I went and kissed. I asked my wife was there too. I asked the pit boss, who was a female, I said, "Can I kiss you?" And I kissed her on the cheek. I was so happy, going crazy. I hit a couple times, way more times lost than won. The only reason that I bring this up is because you like that treatment. You're risking something. You're being recognized for it. You're feeling it a little bit. You know, the best dining, the best everything. They know who you are. You know, you're going through special lines. You never wait for a taxi. You know, you're in the Platinum Club, and you're on the verge of Noir. If anybody knows that at MGM of their 12 or 13 properties, pretty cool stuff, right? I mean, you got to be careful. But this run that I'm talking about, I still to this day think that it's in the plus. I'd have to look at the numbers, but this run over a 3-year period is in the plus. And I still get the offers. I haven't been in 2.5 years. Lots of things changed. The economy took a dump. You know, money's not like it once was, so you stay away. And I think most of the country's staying away. The numbers are not good. But why do I say this? Was it the 200 a hand on some of them, the 300 a hand, the 400 a hand? No, I was playing with money that I was able to play with. If I lost it, you know, the 200, the 400, the 600, did it change my life forever? No. You lose 10, 15, 20 of those in a row, it might. But, you know, you're smart enough at the game, and you know when to stop and things like that, control your emotion. You know, you exit out, you go take a walk, you go get a coffee, whatever, you take a walk. I say this because it's the pull. So when you look at guys like who are on the back here, they can't stay away. So again, these people who say 20 million, 40 million, come on. It's more than that. And especially when they step away and they lose the limelight, they want it back. They want to be treated as such. They want to be wanted. They want to be influential again, because maybe they're not as much as they once were. I'm Chauncey Billups. I got this card game. You got to come, man. I'm not Mr. Big Shot for nothing. You know, we got some players there. It's a totally legitimate game. I'm not condoning this in any way, shape, or form. That's a pretty shitty thing. That's pretty low, man. If this is proven true, you're inviting people to a fixed game. You might as well hold them up. It's basically the same thing. Some of these guys that get in these circles, they feel powerful. I'm hanging with the underworld. I could get so when I said for that period of time, I could send a text and get a seat anywhere I wanted. These people can make a text and go anywhere in the world that they want with all the access in the world, everything at their fingertips. And in the underworld like that, give them access to a whole bunch of other things that above ground, let's say, they might not have access to. So I think they like that. You know, there's a lot of rumors about LeBron James and his crew, and they have black SUVs, and it's kind of a similar type of operation, and they don't play around. And if you don't think that all of that stuff is in that guy's mind, and when I say that guy, I'm talking about LeBron, the power, what do you think is going to happen when LeBron steps away, and maybe he'll own a team or something, but he isn't quite in the limelight anymore? And he's got $1 billion, supposedly. Or he's earned $1 billion. Does he have $1 billion? I don't know. And it doesn't even matter. because it becomes irrelevant. It doesn't even later on. Yeah, some things he'll develop business interests. He already does. I'm sure he took care of some money, probably did all of that. But what's he going to do to fill the king? Because he won't be viewed as the king anymore. The guy behind me, one of them is deceased and more popular now than ever. And the other one will always be known as the greatest ever. Air Jordan. I want to be like Mike, MJ. You don't even need to say his name full. You don't need to say his full name. Some would say you don't need to say LeBron's full name. Just call him the king. Just call him the chosen one. Call him Bron. Yeah, well, I got news for Bron. You're going to be remembered more for what you didn't do and the things that you did do that were awful than what you actually did on the court. And I don't know if he knows this yet or he has a little bit of an idea of this, which is why he's staying around. So I passed Jabbar and I did it for 23 years and I'm still playing and look at me and all this type of stuff. I think that's part of it. Part of it is to chase Kobe at 5 and get past Curry, chase Kobe at 5 and try to get Michael at 6. But, you know, I did it for longer than everybody else. I'm the number one scorer because he knows he can. Let me just go through this real quick. This is the media helps build all these guys up too. And they built him up. When did you ever see media and television cameras at a high school game? That basically started with LeBron. Now, I grew up in Detroit and then later in a suburb of Detroit, and the way that Chris Webber was recruited for Michigan out of Country Day and how he was recruited out of grade school, there were cameras, yes, but there was nothing televised on ESPN. LeBron was manufactured in large part by the media. He is a media creation because he's not even close to either one of these guys. And I'm here to tell you, he's 14 on my top 15 list. There's a lot of other guys that he's not close to. But they created him as so powerful and this untouchable, the chosen one. And then people say, okay, it's on Sports Illustrated. And then he goes and gets it tattooed across his back as if they forced him to go do that. He liked it. He liked the attention. He grew up with very little of it. He said it the other day, I grew up in a one-person household. I'm never going to be alone again. That's basically how I grew up, is what he was saying. What do you think he's going to do when this is gone? I don't care how many businesses he owns. I don't care if he owns a football team or a basketball team like he wishes to do, or a competing, whatever, female team or a competing G League team or whatever the hell he's going to do. You think that that's going to supplant what he's doing now or what he has done? I don't think so. He's going to be looking for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing because he can't do without it. He can't function. He'll be bored. Now you look at a guy like Shaq, however long he's been on inside the NBA, he's Papa John's, he's this, he's that, you know, now he's with Angel Reese. And I mean, Shaq's a very smart businessman, but I don't know about that deal. That's a marriage made in not heaven. He's going to go down with that thing because she is not in it for basketball. She's in it for everything else. She's in it for everything that basketball is providing. And she's going to be into all kinds of things. And I think you saw it with Victoria's Secret, you know, and showing off, you know, basically nothing on. And as far as I'm concerned, Sophie Cunningham is the same. There's the white version and the black version. They're both the same. Both of them can do without basketball, but they can't do without the rest of what it helped provide. They want to be influencers. They want to be sex symbols. They want to, and they may take it further. To be quite honest with you, they may take it further. One of them will pose for Playboy. One of them, maybe they go to OnlyFans, maybe something else. It wouldn't shock me. Not in the least. Angel Reese isn't even good to be in any professional league, if you ask me. She's got to be the only person I know that would create a patented name, and I said this before, a patented name of Me Bounds that highlights something she's horrible at that is the simplest thing to do in the game of basketball. And I think I touched on this earlier, but get ready. And I think that Stephen A. Smith just sent a coded Morse code signal because he would be somebody that would be in the know about this. And he's doing his political stuff. It's so freaking annoying. It's so annoying. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It doesn't have to do with left, right. This has to do with if you break the law, we're going to enforce the law. Before Trump got into office, you could break the law and it was okay. Well, this is kind of how it's supposed to work. He ain't coming for you. You break the law, you're gonna pay for it. Well, he's coming for us. He's gonna come for the wonderful women of the WNBA. The only reason that they would come for the women of the WNBA is because there's reason to go after it. And I believe in my every fiber of my being that is the most corrupt sport in all of them. There's motive. There's opportunity. They've been very vocal that they don't make enough money. Somebody said to me today, I don't think that they're intentionally missing. I think they're just that bad. Well, that's some of them. That's difficult to argue. But I think it's bad. I think it's really bad. And I think it's an opportunity for them to make money. And if they're not already looking at that, turn your attention there and you will uncover probably the biggest, it's not the biggest amount of money, but it's probably the most widespread through a league. And there's only 12 teams, 13 teams. And the money's not the same. But I think you'll find instances are a lot. And I think it runs the gamut of level of player. Small, medium, and large. Highest players making $250, $300, $400, I think. If they really have tenure. Rookies are, I think Caitlin Clark, and she's a bad example, and I'm not suggesting she's doing it because I actually believe she's lives, breathes, eats, and drinks it, sleeps it, wants to be great. I don't even think it's about the money in the game. She has plenty of it, $28 million Nike deal, all the other endorsements. She's set for life as that, but it's like this is her. It's in her fabric. It's not in Angel Reese's fabric. It's also in Sabrina Ionescu. I believe it's in her fabric. Even, what's her name? Brianna. I think she's another one. There's a few of them. But there's a lot of them that want/need the money, and they don't get the money that the others get in sponsorship. So they want what they believe is theirs. Well, we're contributing to this. And I'm going to just say this again because maybe the viewers who are on here now never heard me talk about this. So when I was a sponsor for the Pistons in 2005, that included the Detroit Shock, who were 3-time champions. And then they later sold the team and they went, I want to say Seattle. Bill Laimbeer was the coach. They won 3 championships. So I had a pretty large sponsorship deal that included multiple entities of the Palace Sports and Entertainment. It included DT Energy Music Theater, the amphitheater that I mentioned, the Palace of Auburn Hills, Meadowbrook Music Theater, and a few other things. And as a throw-in in the deal, it's like, hey, we have the Shock. And I didn't want to go watch women play basketball. And then I learned by hanging with the marketing teams and in some of these meetings that the arena, the majority of those tickets were promotional handouts. It's a little ticket that says pay $5 to get in. Or sometimes they were free. And they're getting you on the parking. Then they get you in the building. They make it look full. You come in there, you buy concession. You buy merchandise. It's something to do. You bring your kids. You try to introduce them to a product. And it helps them with inventory to sell to season ticket holders. So if you were a season ticket holder of the Pistons, they don't play year round. So here's an added benefit. We're going to offer value. We're going to offer, value-added proposition. You have the Pistons here, but hey, you also get to see the such and such concerts, and you get to see the Detroit Shock for X period of games during the summer. Bring your kids. We'll have these outings, this and this and this. It was an add-on, folks, not able to stand on its own. So this is why for 28 years or whatever, 27, 26 years, it's never been a financial sound model. It is an added piece of inventory to a much larger piece of pie for the reasons I just gave. So, hey, Paul, we want to sell you this sponsorship. It costs X amount of dollars. You get to come set up your wares, for the Pistons, for the Shock, and for 18 concerts, I think it was. Oh, that's kind of cool. At the time, it was a young business. Hey, I want to get my product in front of the most amount of people. But it wasn't the Detroit Shock that was a moneymaker. It was the Pistons that was a moneymaker. It was the concerts that was a moneymaker. And the Shock was a throw-in. And I've got data all over YouTube and all over the videos that shows how the WNBA laid out over the years. And after COVID, when Caitlin Clark came in and how it's risen, it isn't what you guys think or what people think. It's not. It's the worst television contract in the history of sports. It's not going to make it. It cannot make it. It will not make it. It's already not good enough on its face. And I don't know, people don't know this. Chicago, the Chicago Sky, and the Atlanta Dream, and Washington, they're in arenas that only hold 6,000 people because they can't put them in arenas that are 17,000 because there'll be nobody there. Which is how it was when it was the Detroit Shock, and they were champions. They'd have like 7,000 people in the 7,000 people, and the place held 19,000. It was like nobody was there. You could hear a pin drop. So these girls are pissed because they don't have enough money, and they want more of it, and they're not budging. And who has more motive than that? I think sports is in trouble. I think sports is in a lot of trouble. Again, I coached high school, middle school, high school, and AAU. I got out of it for 3 reasons. One of them was because of what changed with parents, with expectation, with behavior, discipline, and politics. And it's already fractured at the youth level. NIL's hurting that, portal's hurting that. It used to be just scholarships. I'm playing for a scholarship, this and that. This is going to trickle down, folks. And if you don't think that there's gambling at the high school level, I got news for you. There's all sorts of money changing hands in the stands. I've seen it. This is going to exacerbate more. Is it on some app? Nope. Below the college level in high school, is that on an app? No, it's not. But doesn't need to be on an app in order for somebody to bet on something. So everything that's happening at the professional level right now is affecting the youth level. And it's toxic. And it's poisoning it more and more. And the only way to stop it, and I don't even know the full way, to be honest with you, but the best way that I could think about it is, again, you have to restructure. Yeah, there is. Are you asking me that? There is gambling in the youth level. Are you asking me that, or are you saying, yeah, there needs to be a hard reset in sports, 12-24 threads. And that's difficult because you need buy-in at every level, and you need it at the young level. So if you're in middle school going to high school going to college going to pro or overseas or a G League, it's broken. It's broken. It was broken before 2 nights ago. They're already playing for the wrong reasons. NIL broke it bad. Really, really, really bad. I actually put out, I thought, a good video yesterday, the day before, and this is really important because it's all relative to this. It used to be, let's see if this is a parent, and I'm not one, but I've been around it. Let's see if we could get Johnny to be good enough to get a college scholarship so we can save money as a family. Now, You've gone 180 degrees to a different way. The school, in a lot of cases, is not nearly as important. Now it's how much money can Johnny make the family? Yeah, there is gambling in the youth level. My brother was a former Pee Wee football coach. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So now it is how much can they make my family? And the money that parents are putting in and the travel and all of this type of stuff to try to get their kid to be good enough to land some sort of NIL deal. And if the scholarship comes along, it's already broken. There's shortcuts everywhere for young people today. What they just witnessed, well, I can be like Terry, and I'm not saying they're all going to do it. And I'm not saying that a lot of families aren't good households that teach the right things. But it's like too many people in our world look for the easy way out. They look for a shortcut. Look at Terry Rozier, man. Look at Chauncey Billups. Look at Damon Jones. And we're going to get a whole list, folks. We're going to get a massive list of people who are involved in this. And I believe they're going to uncover very large names. And the only reason I think that this is because if it was up to the NBA, it wouldn't happen. But I think that this administration and who they have on this, they're going for it. And this is send a loud and clear message to that we're in charge, the rule of law, and Chauncey Billups, as big of a name as he is, he's not big enough. If Kevin Garnett was at the game as alleged, it's not big enough. And apparently he didn't do anything wrong. So he was hosed. He was conned. He was invited to a game that was bad. He didn't do anything wrong. I mean, it's an illegal poker game. I guess you could say that. It's not sanctioned in any way. You can't just not have a license to operate a gambling. I doubt there was a permit pulled. Yeah, I think it's safe to say there wasn't a permit pulled. Even if there was, he was conned, if this is all true. So he didn't do anything wrong by all accounts so far. We'll reserve judgment until it's final. So if all this stuff is already broke at the youth level for all the wrong reasons, and it's the largest reason why it drove me out. People ask me all the time, do you miss it? Do you want to go back? No and no. I told somebody on video, if somebody offered me $500,000 to go coach tomorrow, to go coach the best high school team in America, we'll give you $500,000. No way. No. It's 11-month-a-year job, 11.5-month-a-year job. No. All jobs are supposed to be 12 months a year, 11.5 or 11 if you want to get 4 weeks vacation. But there's so much that goes with it. There's so much pain. Coaches are so undervalued. They're so disrespected. What it actually takes, what you deal with, and it don't matter the level. The younger levels, I could argue is harder because you're dealing with the parents, you're dealing with the politics of it. There's politics at every level, but you're playing my kid over that kid. My kid's better, and this is at the high school level too. This is AAU. And now the pressure is at an all-time high, which is what I saw coming and I needed to get out. You're now taking money out of my pocket. You're not playing my kid enough, and that's going to ruin our family because Bobby is good enough to make money, to get a scholarship, to get an NIL deal, to get, he's got to be on the AAU circuit, and you're not playing him enough, and you're playing this guy and this guy. That's what's involved. Very serious. So you're looking at a bonfire that has more wood in it than it should, and then you're putting accelerants over it, and the fire's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And if somebody doesn't act quickly and take control, the money's out of control too, by the way. The legal money, the contracts, it's out of control. It has to stop somewhere. It has to curtail somewhere. It isn't like it's just endless. You're going to price yourself out of the market. You see what's happening. How many freaking subscriptions do you need in your household to watch every NFL game? I think it's $1,400 or $1,600 a year you have to spend to see every NFL game. A year. $1,400 to $1,600. That's not going to a game. That's just being able to be at home and watch it. Oh, you need ESPN, you need FanDuel, you need Red Zone, you need Amazon, you need Netflix, you need whatever else. There is an end game here, and they're getting dangerously close. There's so much money involved. And online gambling and the easy access to it has complicated it, has made it worse. But make no mistake about it, it isn't the online gambling. It's not their fault. They have mechanisms in place to catch you. And if you want to go be an ass and go do something stupid, then that's the risk you take. But the penalty must be the death penalty. And when I say death penalty, the death penalty to sports. You never play again. And Chauncey Billups, if this is proven true, he'll never be able to step in an arena again for the rest of his life. I don't think. He'll never be able to go to a basketball game. And I think Tom Gores, who owns the Pistons, will pull it down, will pull the jersey down, and Hall of Fame and all that stuff is gone. You have to. You're going to make it okay? Now all of a sudden it's okay? You're throwing games. This is bad news, man. And I think it gets worse before it gets better. We've only seen people say tip of the spear. People say this and that. And that's another thing there is I have that second thing, sports and trust. Before any of this happened, how many people do you hear all the time over Kansas City last year and the year before? It's fixed. The refs are in the pocket. Kansas City only gets away with this. They want Kansas City to be there. Oh, they want New England to be there. Oh, they want the Lakers to be in the finals. There's already a lack of trust. This takes it and ratchets it up 100 times. Will you ever watch a game again and feel like you're watching real? Is the outcome predetermined? Is the outcome in jeopardy? If you're betting a game, now people want action. They call it action. People want action. They already knew that there's potential for this. It's not going to stop them. Yeah, who's the 2004 Finals MVP going to be given to now? Ben Wallace? Haha. Yeah. I don't know if they'll take that away. That's an individual, kind of an individual award. But to hang it in the rafters and people come into your building and they see Chauncey Billups up there and that's hanging over the floor where your team is playing, if you're the owner, Tom Gores, and your team's playing, but right looking over the floor is a guy, and I don't think that there's been anybody in basketball history that will have had a black, if this is true, that will have given the game a black eye. You've got boxers, you've got baseball players, you've got people like that. But I don't know that we've ever had a basketball player like this. And the Billups part is bigger than Rozier, in my opinion, because he did it in two ways. It sends the wrong message. You got to clean it out. And it just, again, you know, when I met Rip Hamilton and his wife and kids in the elevator at the Aria Hotel in Las Vegas, like might be 3 years ago now. And he held the door for me, and I came in. I said, "Yes, sir." And he looked at me like, I go, "Rip, I'm from Detroit, man. I love you. Loved your career. Followed you at UConn. I mean, we had a play on our team called UConn, and it was designed after you because of the way you could come off a screen and shoot a 14-foot jumper." He was smiling. I looked at his kids and I said, "Do you guys have any idea how good what a great shooter your dad was?" And Rip's like, "Yeah, they don't know and they don't care." It's like, you don't know how good your dad was? But I think he was being serious. And the kids were like really, I'd say introverted, but very polite. and they just like nonchalant about it. So it probably is not, crazy in his household that way. But I was like, your dad has an art form that only a few people in the game have had, and it's lacking in a very big way. There needs to be more people. Everybody wants to shoot. This is 3 years ago. Everybody wants to shoot from 27, 28 feet now. Your dad became an expert at 14 feet, 16 feet. And a lot of these guys can't shoot from 14 or 16 feet. They can't shoot a free throw, which is 15.9 feet. But they go out and knock down 23 footers like it's nobody's business. Backwards. All right, so I'll close with this. I didn't get a chance to say this the other day. I was actually going to be on Jason Whitlock's show, and all this news broke. And the topic in my block was all basketball related, nothing to do with the gambling because we didn't know. And then that hit. I got delayed by 30 minutes, I think, and then I pushed 30 minutes and then pushed altogether because Jason wanted to commit the entire show, I think, to it. One of the conversations was about Wemby. So in my lifetime, well, first of all, dude is at 100 times level, 100x the aggression level. He committed himself in the offseason. And I say this all the time, folks, and I firmly believe it as a former coach. It was mental. It wasn't physical. It was a mental adjustment and a confidence adjustment and a skill increase to make him believe that he could turn the volume up, because literally he took the dial and turned it from like a 3, it goes up to 10, right? Took it from a 3 up to like 13. What he was doing in the other day in that game, the opening night game, holy smokes. He's 7'4", and some believe he's 7'5" now, with a 7'9" wingspan. And dude's out there like Isaiah Thomas handling the rock. And he's doing Euro steps, and he's doing hezzy dribbles. And he's between the legs, behind the back, off 1 foot, fading, whether that was at free throw line extended, top of the key, or top of the circle. It didn't matter. Guys in his face. My biggest concern for Wemby, he looks like he's going to break. Like basketball, a lot of people don't understand this about basketball. It is, even though now it is not nearly what it was in the 90s, Bad Boys days, in the 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s. It's nothing like then. The game is still extraordinarily physical. When you go down on the block and you have a 250, 240, 230, 260 in some cases, body banging against you, let me tell you, that stuff hurts. And there are legal moves that you can do where you turn a shoulder into somebody and it's going right here. It's going here, or it's going here. Right here. It'll knock your teeth out. Knees banging, Charlie horses, broken ankles, Achilles, all sorts of injuries like that. And when I look at his legs and his arms, it's so skinny. So I'm going to go way back here. So like Sean Bradley, poor guy's in a wheelchair now on a freak accident on a bicycle, I think it was. 7'7". Manu Bol was 7'7". Sean Bradley was 7'4", 7'5". Way back in the day, Chuck Nevitt in the 80s played for the Pistons, was 7'5". So many guys, Yao Ming, so many guys of that type of height could never do what Wemby can do. And none of them, Manu Bol was as skinny as him. You could argue Manu Bol was maybe skinnier than him. But Yao was thick. Yao was a big boy. Chuck Nevitt was a 12th man on the bench. I mean, he just really wasn't much of anything. Sean Bradley, very slender, limited minutes, nothing real effective. We've never seen anything like this. And it to Rachel's point, it does kind of suck that dude came out and did that, and the very next morning it's the world, everyone's got their hair on fire because the story's blowing up and everything else. And it's like it took away from it. Whereas that was a great game. Then even last night, and I didn't watch any of it. I had no desire to watch any of it. I didn't even want to speak about it yesterday. I was anxious today because I can't believe some of the stupid ass comments that are being done by people. It's like, you don't get it. Yeah, they never have great longevity either. No pun intended. We'll see with Wemby. Yeah, I Ralph Sampson. Yeah, but Ralph, yeah, he's 7'4", 7'5". But Ralph could produce. You're showing your age, Adam. I know you're not as old as me, but yeah, Ralph could do some things. He was not like Sean Bradley. He was not like Manute. Manute could knock down a jumper every now and again, but Ralph could do some things. And when you had the twin towers, that he could do some things. He was not a stiff by any means. But yes, they typically their joints and things like that, their body breaks down because you're not supposed to be that tall. There's something in the womb that happens that ends up causing you to be that tall. Some of it's genetics, but generally speaking, there's different movement, as I understand it, in the womb where you can grow bigger like that. But Wemby looks phenomenal. The smooth touch too. So like he'll make this move and then he'll just kiss it off the glass. Welcome to the show. He'll kiss it off the glass and it's like, that's not normal. Like that's gifted. That's not even really something you practice. I'm telling you as a coach, you can practice, but that is natural God-given ability that he's improved upon, but you don't just create that. Like you don't suddenly start to say, okay, I'm going to practice this every day. I mean, you know how many guys try to do a kiss off the glass like that, moving like that with your body and all the intensity and inertia and momentum going one way to be able to do that with somebody, 7 feet in your face. And Anthony Davis is in his face. What was that? Yeah, that was opening night, right? And Anthony Davis is not, freaking 6'7". And he's doing it over him. Crazy. So it's really it's unfortunate to see how this has happened. All right, probably the thing I'll close with here is these G League athletes that are supposedly supposed to be eligible. And Tom Izzo, again, another shout out to my home state of Michigan, and he's so sad and broken about it. Bill Self is speaking out. A lot of coaches are speaking out. This is absolutely ridiculous. And as I'm trying to say in all of these different things with the gambling, with the NIL, with the portal, what's happening with the politics and the cultish type parent behavior, living vicariously through your children's lives and using your child as a vehicle to make money is freaking disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. These kids get led to a dream that doesn't exist. In almost every case, the numbers are staggering at the percentage of people that don't make it or the percentage of people who do make it, however you want to look at it. Young people that have come to me for jobs over the years, they're 22 years old. They don't know a thing. They know nothing. They're nice people. They're not dum-dums or anything like that, but they have no tangible skills because they've been thinking that they're going to be, I'm talking about hockey, they're thinking they're going to be the next Steve Yzerman because someone told them that. And the parents allowed it. And they come to me at 22 with basically their first job. 13 and a half was my first job. By the time I was 17, I was starting to kind of round into form. 2021, I could really do some things. I owned my first business at 13 and a half years old. These guys at 22, they don't have any idea what that even means, let alone have a job. And then they have these degrees and they don't even apply it. They're not even in that field. They're doing labor because they never were serious about it. They were at the rink every day, morning, afternoon, and night, year round, on ice, off ice, in-season training, off-season training. Folks, it's fractured. And I've committed myself, and that's part of why I have Luke. He's 26, I'm 53. I want to create a platform, and I feel like I'm starting to do that, to where I can become a spokesperson to knock some freaking sense into people. Not every one of your kids is going pro. Not every one of your kids is getting an NIL deal. Oh, and one more thing about the gambling. I said this in a video yesterday. Let me close with this about another 5 minutes. If you have somebody that's got a $2 million, $4 million, $6 million, $8 million NIL deal, you're at the University of ABC, and one of your teammates who also starts standing right next to you goes to the same university, he's on the same team, but he has no NIL deal. He has a scholarship to play there, but that doesn't have the money you have because somebody thinks of you and gave you the money because they want you to sponsor their product. They believe you're going pro, you're marketable, and they're not. Who do you think is a target to gamble, to throw games, to fix games, to alter outcomes of games? I wonder. Is it the guy with the 4 million, 6 million, 8 million? Nah. When they go out on a Friday night like tonight, and the one dude's got a pocket full of cash and he's got all these rocks on and all this type of stuff, and you got the guy next to him, he's got lint in his pocket. He doesn't like lint in his pocket. He wants what the guy next to him has in his pocket. Well, how do I get some? NIL's not coming. Maybe the NFL or NBA or whatever it is, they're not coming. How do I get me some? Because I want to hang with them. You see what this has created? No, there was people getting illegally paid. Chris Webber was one of them. There were people getting illegally paid 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and so on. The movie Blue Chips was very real with Nick Nolte and Shaq and Matt Nover and those guys who played those parts. Very real. That stuff happened under the table. Now you have NIL. You have given an opportunity for it to be more reason for them to want to do it. If the guy next to you was broke, or maybe his family had a little bit of money, but that was the reason. Hey, I came from lesser means and Johnny came from more means. So, but that's legitimate. No. You're giving him 4 million. Where's my 4 million? I'm busting my ass. I'm on the defensive line. You're a quarterback. What? I don't count? He wants money too. You don't think he's tempted to go get that money? You don't think that the underbelly, the underworld is looking at that guy? They're smart people, folks. They do illicit things, but they're smart people. They know who to go after. They know who to target. Number whatever on the defensive line, they know who has NIL deals and they don't as public information. Oh, he's best friends with the quarterback? How do you think he feels when they go out on a double date and he's got no money to pay? And so-and-so's paying the bill. Or if it's just them and they're out at the bar or they're whatever. He don't have as nice of clothes. Or so-and-so's driving he's driving a sweet-ass car on campus. And the other guy's driving a hoopty. So you see what I'm saying? By doing all of this, you've now accentuated opportunity, or temptation is probably the better word. So there's no real solve in sight. You have to do lifetime bans. You have to do death penalties in the sports context. Death penalty, if you do it in college, you're banned forever. No school can ever allow you to play. At the pro level, you do it, you're banned from ever entering arena. You can never play again. You forfeit your salary. You forfeit any reward, any awards, any championships. You're ostracized basically for the rest of your life. It would have to be that, folks. It would have to be that. Like people know if you are a drug distributor, you know what type of sentence goes with that. If you do drugs and you get caught versus you distribute drugs and get caught are two completely different things. You go be a part of fixing games and altering outcomes, it's a lifetime ban and it's a felony and it's all of these things. And basically, same as if you were a felon where it's very difficult to get a job, you basically throw in a wrench for the rest of your life. It's the only way. Because FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, and all of them, again, it's not going away. And even if it did get tailored back, whatever you want to say, it's still there. Even if they took it away, the underbelly will get bigger than ever, and they have access to technology, and they know how to get the word out. It will never go away. You can't stop it. It's been around for 50, 60 years. And lastly, for a couple people that just joined the show, this nonsense about so-and-so's worth $200 million, why would he do it? The reason he's doing it, in my opinion, is because he can, number one, the power of it, number two, the ego of it, three, the victory of it, to prove that I can do it, the wanting or trying to get away with it. You may think it's silly, but because somebody has $200 million, how many people in this world, what's his face from Enron, running a Ponzi scheme? He had more money than anybody in the world. Why would he do something like that? You know, that thing called greed? Bernie Madoff. Greed, ego, power, hunger, competition. All of these are reasons. I do it because I can. Oh, they want me to do this? I feel wanted. They lost the limelight. They're gone from the sport, as an example. This is an opportunity for me to shine again. I have all the money in the world I need, but it's not about the money. It's about access. It's about power. It's about control. It's about the competition. It's about seeing if I could get one up, one over. That's shit ass deal. That is if this is true, and Chauncey Billups invited all of these people, and he's basically promoting access to himself and to other people of the status of himself. And these games, someone can see through the cards and is basically stealing your money. And Rick Carlisle, Chauncey's former coach in Detroit, says he called him last night to see how he was doing. And Chauncey didn't answer. Of course he didn't answer. You didn't think he was going to answer, did you? And Sam Mitchell, former Minnesota Timberwolf. I love Chauncey Billups. I won't believe it until I see it. There's a lot of people that feel that way. Having ran in those circles a little bit with the Pistons sponsorship, everybody spoke the world about Chauncey Billups. He was the guy. But sometimes the guy and sometimes the person that you least expected is the one who does it. That happens more times than we can even count. How many people do something that you say, that I never thought it? I can't believe it. How many people in high school, oh my God, that you used to go to high school with, did you hear about so-and-so? Ah, my God, they were a 4.0 student. I never would have guessed it. It's not always who you think it's going to be. Last thing, promise, about Chauncey Billups. If you don't think that he wore that sweatshirt when he was released, which they probably gave him a chance to put some clothes on when they went and picked him up, because I don't think he surrendered. I think they went and got him. It was a coordinated bust in 11 states or something like that. They give you a chance to get your coat. And he picked that one? Clutch Sports? Whoa. How many sweatshirts must he have? How many coats must he have? How many button-down flannels or whatever must the guy have? He picked that one? And he knows the camera's going to be on him? You don't think there's meaning behind that? I don't think his whole closet has Clutch Sports in it. Probably sending a message. Go ahead and say something. Watch what I do. Or you better help me or watch what I do. There's all kinds of things at play. What we find out over, let's say, the next 6 weeks, I think is going to shock the conscience of people 10x what they found out. Was it yesterday? I don't even know. Yesterday, the day before, whenever this happened. 10x, folks, is going to cross over into all sports. Look out. So I'm not going to do any picks tonight. It feels wrong. It just doesn't even feel right. Not that I'm not going to do it anymore. Not that I'm, never going to make a wager again. Not that any of that stuff, I'll come back to it, but I'll just give it a rest for tonight. Tomorrow I'll probably post games like I normally do Sunday for sure. Haven't been doing very good lately as far as the picks I've been given, but I'll go on a roll again like 11 in a row a few weeks ago. So you guys tune in. By the way, please, if you're not following us, please do so on X at PB Sports Talks with an S on the end on YouTube. We really need to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's super important for our growth. We are at like 830. There's like 450, 460 videos up there. There's more and more shorts that are going to be going up there. Like this whole video is up there. Easy to access, lined up next to week 55. It's now, week 56. Easy to go back to. Please share with friends, with family. I appreciate everybody's support. I do feel strongly that I'll be back on Jason Whitlock's show coming soon. Again, I would have been on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Today's Friday. Thursday. Had all this stuff not happen, I was scheduled to be on the first block at 11 o'clock. Jason's got a great show. Really good guys too that are a part of the show, and guys that I've met behind the scenes. These are good people, folks, and I mean that. And I'm not kissing up to Jason. I'm legitimately saying it. I enjoy interacting with these people. They seem like solid guys. They're very friendly. They're very nice. There's some people behind anything successful is not always the face of it. Right. So Jason does a great job, but Jason needs people too. And I need people too. I'm kind of a one-man show right now, but if this ever grows, I can't do this myself. These are some hardworking guys. These are guys I'm talking to sometimes at 7, 8 at night, trying to figure some things out. And they're like, you can call me till 11 o'clock at night. So support Jason at Jason Whitlock, the Fearless Show on YouTube. I think you can find him on Apple and give him a 5-star rating too. Really interesting guy, famous sports writer. That's when I first really took a liking to him was, again, I'm going to age myself, 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And then to have the opportunity to be on his show is a really, really cool thing. So there's some other things in the works too. Some people that I will have on this show, and we're getting closer to that. It's difficult to always, a lot of times to get the schedules to align, but there's a lot of fun things lined up. I'm looking forward to some big things happening. Again, some regulars on here, and that really makes me feel good too. I got to be honest. Adam 1224, B-ball Babe now is joining us, who left me a message today. I appreciate you guys. And every time I turn it on, you're there. And Jesus is not on tonight, but Jesus is another one. So there's like actually some regulars. So I really appreciate you guys. And that's how it all starts. And I cannot thank you enough. And everybody's got something to do in their lives. And, probably some would say better things to do than spend their time listening to me. But I'm going to keep trying to give it to you straight and be bold and, be great with the predictions as I can and give interesting perspective in a different angle than maybe some else out there are doing. And through a coach's lens and through Luke as a former super successful player, etc. And I might take Adam. I might take your Adam has suggested Bill Belichick, who was an sports idol of mine. I'm pretty embarrassed by. He says maybe I should put Barry Sanders over him. And I'm gonna seriously think about that. Yeah, strange times we're in. Great show, PB. Thank you. Yeah, it is strange times in every way. The world is very different now. It's not even just all of this we're talking about. It's like nothing is normal. And Stephen A. Smith, dude, shut the hell up. You sound stupid. You're protecting ESPN because of what it is. And they're announcing this yesterday morning, and ESPN Bet is on the bottom of the screen. And they kind of craftily remove that. And I'll blame Trump because it must be his fault. It must be his fault that people are breaking the law, right? It's just ignorance. He's got to have his hand in everything. And everybody that knows by now he's running for president. And he's trying to get people over to his side. And it's just, yeah. Strange times. That's an understatement. So everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy. I say it every week. I'll say it again. Hug someone, hold someone, love someone. Life is short, especially in these strange times we're in. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night now. Bye-bye.